On this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast, I know we're going through a lot of strain and anxiety regarding COVID-19, but believe it or not, I'm going to bring up some good things that have come as a result of this pandemic. And it's all about cognitive reframing is what we call it, and also mindfulness, but we'll get into that. So stay tuned for that. And also, as usual, I'm going to be giving the listeners a free hypnosis guide along with a couple of other freebies that we've been kind of dishing out the last few weeks. Stay tuned.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is happening, everyone? It's David Wright. We are here with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast. Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining me. We are here in the Podcast Detroit Northville studios.
Happy to have you.
Matt is here, as usual, helping me out.
Doing what I can.
Doing what you can. They're in the background.
Yeah, kind of.
Da-da-da-da, like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
That's me.
That's in the background. So those of you watching live on Facebook, thanks for tuning in. Give us a shout out. I'll be able to see it, or Matt will let me know you did. If you happen to be on, say hello. Yeah, I have a couple of family members check in the last couple of weeks. My oldest sister called in a couple of shows ago, or checked in. My younger sister checked in like last week, so that's cool. So yeah, if you're online on Facebook, give us a shout, and we'll say hello.
It's a family affair.
It is. I'm waiting for, I don't know who else could check in. Well, I have a brother. He could check in. I have another sister who could check in. So, yeah, I'll just saying, hey, where you guys been?
Yeah, you've been called out.
We're going to do our family reunion on the podcast.
Fair enough.
That would not be very interesting, though.
Oh, come on. The right family's got to have some stories. Come on.
Oh, I have some stories. Don't know if we can share them here, but
you could try.
I could. So let me tell you where you can find me. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. On my website, you'll find my podcast page, my podcast and blog page. They're kind of one and the same. You can find my shop page with all of my MP3 downloads and other cool things. And just not that you really care out there, but I'm actually in a revamping the whole website. So it will look different. I'm going to say in a week. Have all the same great stuff on it, but it'll just have a different look and a different feel, but it will definitely be my website. So, yeah, come back and check that out in a week or two and let me know if you like the changes. You can find me on social media, Facebook and YouTube, Motor City Hypnotist. And speaking of YouTube, I record all of my podcasts video on all of my podcasts as well. And I post those after the audio has been released to all the podcast platforms. So if you want to watch, I mean, I don't know if I'll make a difference for you, but you could see me doing the podcast. That might be interesting.
You got a better face for radio than I do. I'll just throw that out there.
Oh, good for you.
So, yeah, check out my YouTube channel. And also on my YouTube channel, you can also check out, unfortunately, shows have been kind of dead because of COVID, but check out, I have a whole bunch of clips from shows. So if you want to have a laugh or two, check those out as well. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those are Motor City Hypno. And I'm also on Patreon. Patreon is a creator site for listeners or people who watch or listen content, can contribute to the show financially. Mm-hmm. Just check it out. It's minimal donations, but you get cool stuff like I wore my T-shirt today, so I could show it off. You could have one of these.
Yep.
You could have a coffee mug that you could put Michter's whiskey in.
You can.
Yes, you can.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, it'll work for that too.
I've never had it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, Alan Benson actually chimed in.
Oh,
and said,
Alan!
Hey,
Alan watches Alan listens every week.
Excellent. Thanks
Alan,
for chiming in.
Thanks for checking in. Hey, Alan.
The fuck are you doing?
Yep, I know you're listening to a podcast or watching a podcast. So, hey, thanks for checking in, Alan. I appreciate it. I really do. So yeah, check out Patreon if you'd like to take a look and make a donation. That would be awesome. And also, wherever you're listening, whether it be on Apple iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the podcast, if you could just subscribe and leave a review, that would really help me. It helps me get more visibility, grow my channel, and grow my audience, and that would be great. So if you're listening, just like I said, just subscribe and like it. That would be awesome. This episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast is brought to you by Banner Season. Online marketing is saturated and people rarely open their emails. Are you in sales or does your business market to customers? How do you connect with family, friends, and clients? Banner Season takes your marketing into the real world by delivering kindness and thoughtfulness directly to your clients physically. Imagine the excitement of your family, friends, and customers as they receive personalized cards and gifts in their mailboxes. Go to bannerseason.com/fantastic and begin today to express kindness and make connections with others. Again, that's bannerseason.com/fantastic. And it's a pretty cool program. I have some automatic birthday things set up so that I don't have to remember. And on the people's birthdays who I have set up, they just get a card and a gift in the mail.
Cheater.
Automatically. Yeah. Hey, as long as I can get ahead.
Right.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to think about it. Yeah. Whenever I read the ad, I always think, I didn't mess it up, but I'll still play this anyway.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
We're just playing for the heck of it. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about something fun and interesting. Our winner of the week. Woo-hoo.
That's how winning is done.
This is a cool story. So let me just read through it, and I may hop around because it's a little bit long, but you'll get the point of it. So this comes from Sedona, Arizona. When 95-year-old World War II veteran Johnny Demas lost his full-time caregiver and wife of 67 years, there didn't seem to be many options other than to move out of his house and into a nursing home. So he lost his wife of 67 years. He needed a caretaker. But he and his late wife had always vowed they would never go into a home. I guess they talked about it and said, we don't want to go into homes. So his grandson, Roger Gilbert, devised a plan. He moved Grandpa Johnny from Illinois to live with Roger and his wife in Sedona, Arizona 2 years ago. And last October, they decided to embark on an epic journey around the United States in their motorhome, visiting all of the places on their grandfather's bucket list.
Oh, my God, it's great.
Yeah. Knowing time was limited, the unlikely trio explored and experienced as much as they could together, from Mardi Gras in Las Vegas to encounter with a camel named Roger at a dairy farm on the Mexican border.
Okay. So they didn't go across the border.
Yeah. Apparently it was on the border. I don't know if Roger the camel was from Mexico or not. Maybe he came over.
Sure it wasn't a donkey.
Yeah, right. Most importantly, they got to visit several World War II museums where Johnny was treated like a rock star, as he should. He's a World War II vet.
95 years old. Wow.
He was also fortunate enough to meet another fellow World War II vet there. And then the grandson said, I think it was deeply cathartic for Grandpa to be able to process everything that happened at such a young age by talking with this other veteran. He enlisted in the Marines at age 17. And at that time, his father had to sign him up because he wasn't 18 yet.
Wow.
Yeah, they'd have permission, apparently.
Right.
He served in Guam, where he was wounded and sent back to the United States to recover in a VA hospital. He had severe PTSD. So, this guy had again, serving our country, injured, experiencing PTSD. His wife of 67 years passes away, and his grandson and his wife just take him on this trip of a lifetime.
Honestly,
just across country. They just, and it's great because they just loaded his wheelchair into this motorhome, and then they dubbed the vehicle the Sweet Mary bus for his late wife.
That's great.
Yeah, they named the bus after her.
That is beautiful.
So, and again, some of their favorite stops turned out to be Tombstone, Arizona, White Sands, New Mexico, cities of San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. They loved El Paso. particularly the Rosa Cantina, which is featured in the song El Paso. So a lot of details as far as their trip goes, going back and forth. So this is a great story, and I have to end it on a sad note. The 96-year-old passed away this year on August 16th.
Oh, boy.
And their next planned trip was a visit to Graceland, the home of his biggest idol, Elvis Presley.
Got it.
He was so excited to go, but his deteriorating health wouldn't allow for it. But in a final sweet kiss from God, Roger and Joe realized that Grandpa died on the same day as Elvis did, 43 years later.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So Elvis welcomed him to the pearly gates.
Absolutely. I'm sure Elvis was standing there waiting.
Right
I can't
there.
do an Elvis impersonation.
Neither can
We're
I.
standing there waiting. So it's a great story. Their son, his grandson, and his wife, Roger Gilbert, and his wife definitely are winners. And so is Roger.
Yes.
Roger's the veteran. Roger Gilbert.
How often do you get to meet
Condolences, Roger,
Yeah.
and or to the family. But what a great story.
How often do you get to meet an animal that's named after you?
That too. Yeah. the camel.
The camel, right?
And to meet another World War II veteran
In
at
the
this
travels,
age
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Great story. I'll leave a link to that story because there's probably like a 4-page article on this of all the things they did and different details. So take a look at that. I'll leave the link in the show notes. So to Roger, God rest your soul, and to his grandson Johnny and his wife, you are our winners of the week.
Thank you.
That's how winning is done.
Yes, it is.
So, back to it.
So we're going to talk today a little bit, and I know I talked about this in the intro, in the open, about COVID-19. And I know if you're listening today, it's November 13th at the time of this recording, and we all know that the numbers have been going up. Probably, actually, it's the highest now than it's been since it started.
Right.
We're way. So I don't know what's going to happen with this. And as a therapist, I have a lot of clients that come in very anxious, very scared, very overwhelmed because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's the challenge in a lot of situations, that if you don't know what's going to happen, it's scary because there's no way to plan. There's no way to. So I'm going to give you a couple of things, and then I'm going to give you a list of things that we can look at. And when I say this, we're going to reframe these. And when we talk about cognitive reframing, it's taking a situation and just looking at it in a different way. So something that definitely is negative, which would be a pandemic, looking at it differently. So taking the best out of a bad situation. I know that sounds cliche, but really that is what reframing does. Our winners of the week. A terrible situation. This grandfather, his wife, 67 years, dies, and he's in bad health, and they don't want to put him in a nursing home. So they take a trip across the country. That's
right.
Just like reframing a bad situation and making the best of it. So I know COVID is on everyone's minds, and as long as you are doing what you can do, that is the only thing that you have control of. So as long as you're taking precautions as directed, as long as you're limiting your time out, as long as you're not putting yourself in dangerous situations, that's the most you can do.
Sure.
And I know people they're like, "Oh, I'm scared I'm going to get it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. That's a valid concern."
Yeah. It's going to make its way through the entire population of the globe eventually. So you just, protect yourself, mask up, do your sanitizing, keep your place clean. But, again, limiting your exposure to other folks.
Absolutely. And just doing what's in your control. Now, on that subject, I'm going to talk about some positives that have come as a result of this pandemic. And I know that sounds a little odd or doesn't really kind of go together. But here's the thing. Most people don't make changes until they're forced to. And when I say that, most people don't make changes until there's a catastrophe or a huge event in their life that forces them to make changes. And in a general example, many people out there who've maybe had a heart attack in their 50s or 60s, and then once that happened, They're like, I have to get in shape. I have to watch what I eat. It forces them to have to make a change because of what happened.
Right.
So unfortunately, this pandemic has forced us to do a lot of things, but a lot of these things are positive. So I'm going to start with one. The first one is a break in routine. And we all know that we have routines in our lives. We do things every day. You get up at the same time, you go to work, you do this, you do that. You take, have to take the kids here at this time. And routine is a good thing, but after a while, if you don't have anything beyond that, it can get stale. You can get kind of stuck. It causes a lot of people depression and anxiety. And psychology shows, research shows that people are more open to habit changes in times of upheaval. This is definitely a time of upheaval.
Yeah.
With COVID. So what this does is gives you an opportunity to restructure your life. And maybe it's not something, maybe you were choosing to do this, but because of the situation, you've had to. People now have to stay at home with their kids because they're online schooling.
Right.
They have to make arrangements as far as how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those things seem inconvenient, but think about it. You're spending more time at home. You're spending more time with your kids.
Right.
Granted, you may not want to do that.
Boy,
Oh,
that
boy.
escalated quickly. That really got out of hand fast.
No, I get it. Sometimes kids can be challenging, and too much time, of course, can also cause conflict. But we have to look at that there are positives that have happened
Right.
as far as having to change your routine.
A friend of mine earlier this week, David,
Yeah.
said, quote, and I quote, "You are, Matt, the king of pivot." Right? Cause so many things change so drastically, so quickly. You have to learn to adapt and pivot yourself to then become accustomed to something new.
Yeah.
And then again, pivot again because something new is right around the corner.
It's funny you use the term pivot. Not funny in a ha-ha way, but,
Right.
but
Or in a friend's way.
Or, yeah, because this whole podcast came about, and I've been thinking about this for quite a while, but the whole podcast came about because my summer show season got wiped out because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, from April through August, I'm either doing high school shows for prom, post-prom, grad nights, college shows for graduation, or freshman orientation week, fairs on fairgrounds at 5-6 days at a time.
Sure.
And all of that was gone. So, and I'm sure I've expressed this on the show before, that I wanted to continue to reach out to people. So this situation forced me to have to do something.
Right.
Even though I wanted to, I hadn't done it. So this gave me the opportunity to do it. So that's a plus.
Yes.
Number two, and this is going to sound funny, but we've all learned the importance of personal hygiene.
It's not
It's
funny.
quite pungent. It stings the nostrils.
And I know that's funny in a way.
It's not.
But sometimes we're not aware of things. And it's not like something's wrong with somebody, but let's say let's go back a year in time. Let's go back a year in time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have thought twice about shaking someone's hand?
Nope.
Or touching a rail, or a doorknob, or whatever else you do throughout your daily routine. Now, even before this pandemic, there are still things such as the flu and colds and other things that could make you sick, but we didn't think about it because nothing was. I won't say the flu's not life-threatening. It can be, depending on your situation.
The type of flu,
But
yes,
we've never been this aware of hygiene before. And that's a good thing because it helps in so many other places, too. Especially if you have a partner who wants you to wash your hands. I don't... So it really is. It's a good thing. The thing I wonder is, did people not use toilet paper before? Because that sure seemed like, that came out of the...
Again, when all that disappeared, like instantly.
Yeah, you're like how much toilet paper are you going to use?
Right.
A mess.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Get out the corn cobs.
Oh, yep.
Here we go.
Get out the leaves out of your yard. Number 3, and this is a good one because I think we all would agree with this, to focus on and appreciate our essential workers. Mm-hmm. I think we've always appreciated them, but this puts it in a whole new light.
Yes.
These people are actually risking their lives to take care of people and people who are sick, people who are, again, the serious ones on ventilators and they're not, and again, these are the only people some of these people had contact with before they passed away.
And even beyond, folks that are in the hospitals and healthcare, then you add on your police, your fire departments, all those employees, all the
first responders, yes.
All those folks were so essential to really support through this entire ordeal and continues. And
teachers, we'll add those
teachers,
to the mix.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I mean, think about it. All your first responders, your police, your fire, your EMTs, your teachers, your nurses and doctors and healthcare workers.
Your favorite bankers and tellers at the local branch.
Yes. I mean, even things like that, they continue to work. People, and I know this is a luxury, but even restaurants, this is people's livelihoods. They work and they So it has helped us to focus more on the things that we take for granted.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Here's another good positive. Generosity and community-mindedness is spiking. It's, and maybe it's just me, but it seems like I've seen a lot of great stories about people just helping other people lately.
Today is actually National Kindness Day. I'm not sure if you knew that or not.
I did not.
Yes, today is National
I probably should have made a note of it for the podcast. So let's celebrate today's National Kindness Day, everyone. Let me see if I can find something good.
No, but you're right.
It's a piece of crap. It doesn't work.
No, it does work. Yes, it's National Kindness Day.
Yes, it is. But the generosity, you're seeing a lot more outpouring.
Yes,
through the pain. When folks were coming by your home, beeping their horns because it was your birthday.
Yes,
right? It's just that outward
reaching
thinking.
out. Yes, outward. I saw a great story on the news, and I know. This is another thing I say to clients, and for those of you out there, if you're overwhelmed by things and like bad news or things that bother you or make you anxious, sometimes it's good to pull back from the news for a bit. Unless and I'm not saying just ignore it completely, but sometimes it's too much. But and oftentimes you'll have stories on the news where they say this family had this happen to them. They have a GoFundMe set up. And I'm not saying I've never been compelled to donate before, but for some reason this one struck me the other day. It might have been last night. It was within the last 2 nights. A family's house caught on fire.
And then that was robbed.
It was robbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Grosse Pointe Farms.
Yes, and it was a husband and wife and their daughter. The daughter was an adult daughter, or close to an adult. She was not a kid. And they were saying things in the interview like, you know what? It's sad that our house is gone, but the important thing is we have each other. Right. Everyone got out safe. Our pets got out safe. Everyone is safe, and we're grateful for that. But then they go on in the story to say, while the house was burned and they couldn't stay there, it was vandalized. It was ransacked.
Yes.
And they took like sentimental jewelry and things and that's the part that was like, really?
Yeah.
That part really irked me. But then they said they had a GoFundMe set up, and I'm like, I really felt compelled to donate to that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Because it's already a tragedy, and then you get dumped on more. Which kind of sucks. But again, generosity and community mindedness, and I honestly, I'll challenge everyone who's listening. Just think about something nice you can do. It doesn't have to be money. It just can be, I don't know. If you have elderly neighbors, just go and say hi. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, instead of saying, you know what, give me a call if you need anything. You know what? Give them a message. Hey, you know what? DoorDash is on its way.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just take control and do something. Because and here's the thing, and I know I talk to a lot of people every day, and many people are resistant to taking help. Like if you say, hey, call me if you need anything, they'll say, oh yeah, sure. But in their mind, they're thinking, I'm not going to call you because I don't want to be a burden.
Right.
I don't want to take advantage.
I don't want
to feel needy. But if you just did it, they won't have a choice then.
Right.
Unless they just throw your food out in the yard.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
as Matt just finishes his drink.
Yeah, right?
So number 5, changes in working habits. Again, now we're seeing many workers have taken their office jobs home with them. They're fulfilling the same role they do at the office at home. It's given them a chance to cut down on commute time, driving time, gas costs.
Darn it.
dealing with people you might not like at work.
And
trading for people you might not like at home.
I'm one of those people that had to, again, pivot to move to working from home in my 9 to 5. But in the normal 9 to 5 hours, I did a lot of driving, and that was my car payment. Right. So next thing I know, I'm trying to pivot again to figure out how to make sure that I continue to make these payments, never be late, or what have you. And I found a solution, which was open a podcast studio.
Well, there you go. Which is good, because now I wouldn't be here if you hadn't done that.
There you go.
I might be somewhere else, but the sixth thing, we're leveraging technology to maintain our health and let us keep connected. Had I known a year ago, stock in Zoom, StreamYard, all of these online connection sites, I would have invested a lot more.
You're not the only one, sir.
That's not how it works.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I wish it were, but that would have been great.
See, I'm of the other persuasion where I buy high and sell low, so I'm terrible at this game.
Yeah, that's why I have a financial advisor. Right? That's why I don't try to do things myself. That's not my skill. Well, I'm saying my skill set. It's not my specialty. Let's say that.
Fair.
But the whole thing is people are learning technology. People who would have never learned it before, Grandma and Grandpa, now can FaceTime you or go on Zoom or and it just helps us remain connected. Honestly, in a way more so, because if you're super busy, you don't have. Sometimes we just get lost in our busyness and we don't reach out and keep in contact with friends and family.
Right. And you know what? This was an opportunity for folks that had maybe not talked a lot in the past. Now they're doing a regular FaceTime or Zoom with each other on a weekly. Yeah. Right. And these are folks that they haven't, friends or family that they haven't seen in a long time, but now they have the time to connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And this one again is great for the climate. Pollution is down.
Yeah.
How many less cars? So I'll read this. I'll read the stats here. Venice canals are finally clear. 2 months of pollution reduction in China has probably saved 77,000 lives. New York researchers found a 50% drop in carbon monoxide emissions.
Wow.
For the first time in decades, the air is so clear the Himalayan mountains are now visible. Huh. Wow, that's crazy.
I just said this last night, and in mid-March, when everything went to hell in a handbasket, and then beginning of April, I actually had to go out on the road for something. As I'm driving down the freeway on the highway, I felt like Rick Grimes riding his horse into downtown Atlanta
and running into
season 1
horde of zombies.
No, that didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But just the nobody
the
being on the road, the emptiness.
Yes. Oh, I know
there.
the part, the view of him on the freeway and just nothing.
Nothing there. That's kind of what it felt like. Yep. So I can honestly see why the emissions and everything are gone.
Yeah,
almost.
And that's a plus. That's a plus for our environment. It's a plus for our wildlife.
Yeah,
the ecology has benefited greatly. That's great.
Amen.
Yes. This one I really like. Our dogs and cats in the world are very happy because we're alone all the time, or not. They're not alone all the time now. As of locally, and this goes back to April 22nd, after the pandemic started, all animals that were available for adoption at the Animal Protection Society of Durham, and this was in North Carolina, had found placement homes. So if people knew they were going to be home, now they can have. They know they can have a pet because they know they're going to be home.
Right.
And I know a lot of times if you have a pet, it's hard to be gone all day, every day with your pet just being at home by themselves.
I have no idea what my cat is going to do when I actually get back out and do my normalcy.
Right.
My wife is there, but me being home, the cat has done nothing but be my shadow.
Yep.
For the past 7 months.
And this one, we've been able to do things that we wouldn't think of before. Do you know how many people learned to cook or bake during this pandemic? How many people have gardened, started painting, are reading more? They're increasing their exercise. They're doing home improvements.
Right.
All of these things you now have time to do because you have so much more time at home.
Hey, get your Bob Ross on. Let's go.
Yep, Bob Ross. Let's get a tree.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
That's just me.
So anyway, folks, those are 10 things that are positive. And this all goes back to reframing your mindset. It's called cognitive reframing, and it's looking at something in a different way. I'll go back to our fallback, our movie that we revert to a lot on this is Dead Poets Society.
Right.
The whole scene where he says, why do I stand? Robin Williams gets up and stands up on his desk on it. And he says, why do I stand up here? And people are like, oh, I don't know, something, whatever the answer's written. He goes, no, to see things in a different way.
Right.
It looks different from this vantage point. Then he has them all come up there and stand on the desk and look around.
Oh, Captain.
Yep. Don't jump off like lemmings. Stand there and take a look.
Such a good movie.
So when you think about reframing it, this is a very tough and a very challenging situation. Let's reframe it. Let's look at these positive things. And if any of those resonated with you, you may have your own. You may have other great positive things. If you do, hit me up on social media. I'd love to hear about it. And just think about it in that way. Even though we're forced to do it, the good that comes from it is still good. So think about that.
Thank you for that.
All right, folks. My next episode, we are going to talk about conversational hypnosis. Sounds interesting. If you want to learn more about that, hop in the next episode, and we will be talking about it. Until then, change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. I will see you next time.